So I will start the lesson with a dialogue, okay, just to illustrate a scene. The dialogue is between two old ladies just sitting in a park, talking about things they see. So before I read the dialogue, I will explain some expressions that will be in the dialogue, but you maybe haven't heard them before, or you might not be sure what they mean. So the first expression is when something drives you crazy. When something drives you crazy means it's annoying you very much. For example, loud music, you are forced to listen to loud music that you don't like, and you're just going, it's driving me crazy. Okay? So the second one is not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. Very, very English expression. If you say something is not your cup of tea, it means you don't like it, it's not for you, just not your thing, not my cup of tea. And the next one is, so half deaf. Half deaf. Deaf is someone who's deaf, they can't hear at all. Half deaf, so like half, not completely deaf, they can still hear a little bit. And the last one is hearing aid. So hearing, so if you don't have hearing, you are deaf. Hearing aid is something that helps you. So if you are deaf or half or partially deaf, it's a device that you put in your ear and it helps you to hear what people are saying. You can be turned on or off. So it's a hearing aid. Okay? Right, so just to remind you, there's two old ladies sitting in a park, just talking about things they say. I'm not very good at doing voices, so you know, it's not about the voices, it's more about the content, as you know. Right, so I'm just gonna have to do this because I'm gonna be both ladies. Right, so let's begin. First lady. Have you seen how fat the pigeons are? People must be feeding them too much. Oh aye, and the geese as well. That one could be my Christmas dinner this year. They may be all gone by then. I bet you're not the only one with that idea. All that bread can't be good for the birds. There ought to be some signs saying, do not feed bread to the birds. Yes, there ought to be other signs too, like, do not play loud music in the park. Kids these days listen to some terrible music. I know. I wonder if we were younger, we could like it. Would we like it? You might be right, but I'm not sure. I must have heard enough of it by now here in the park, and it's definitely not my cup of tea. It drives me crazy. And does it have to be so loud? It can't be good for their ears. Those kids must be half deaf. Or you could just turn your hearing aid off. Ah, yes. And then I won't have to listen to you neither. That will be the best idea that you have ever given me. Cheers, pet. Right. I hope you understood everything. So, what are these women doing? Okay, they are talking, obviously. They're having a conversation. They're sitting in a park. Yes, they are doing that. But what is their conversation like? Are they talking about facts? Are they talking about things that they know for sure? Or are they just guessing things, just discussing something that they, giving their opinions about stuff? So what they are doing is basically they're speculating, right? So when you speculate, it means that you are discussing possible answers without having the full story. You are discussing possibilities and impossibilities of things in the past, the present, or the future. Okay, so I will read out some of the modals from the dialogue, and I will also read out the sentence that they were in, just so you can get a feel for what the speculation means or what it feels like. So the first one, for example, must. So the modal must be, people must be feeding them too much. Because this lady is certain, she's sure, that people are definitely feeding these birds too much because look at them, they're all fat. Fat. I should stop swallowing my T's, I'm sorry about that. So this woman is making a conclusion based on what she's seeing. So she sees these fat birds, and her conclusion is that it's because people are feeding them too much. So she's sure, she's certain, she says people must be feeding them too much, okay? Just because she is sure and certain 100% that that's what it is, it doesn't mean that it's 100% true. So I like to say, even though must be is a certainty, I like to call it an almost certainty. You could be 100% certain, but it's not 100% true. It's more like 99% true. Okay? Right, next one. Maybe. They may be gone by Christmas. It's a possibility. There's a chance that these birds will not be there by Christmas anymore because people will have taken them home for Christmas dinner. Could be. That one could be my Christmas dinner. So it's likely or possible. Probably not, because no one is going to do that. But, you know, in this conversation, said that one could be my Christmas dinner. If circumstances were different and I was starving, maybe. You might be right. So you might be right. You might be right, might be not. It's a 50-50 chance. It's a possibility. Okay, next one. There ought to be signs. Ought to be signs. Ought to is not a very common modal, but it is used in English language by English people quite a lot. You might have not be familiar with it. Ought to. So it's two words, ought, O-U-G-H-T, and to. Ought to. It goes together just like have to and need to. Always stays together, ought to. So there ought to be signs, or you can also say there should be signs. It's the same. There should be signs. So you are deducting something, you know, from your personal experience. Your deduction is there ought to be signs so that people know. Okay? Can't be. It can't be good for their ears. It can't be. Again, it's quite a strong certainty. It can be. You are certain that this loud music can't be good for their ears. But again, it's your personal opinion, right? You're 100% certain, but the truth is maybe 99%. Okay? Will be. That's an interesting one, because, will be, we normally use when we talk about future, right? That will be the best idea, but then she continues to say, that you have ever given me. So it means she already gave you your idea. So we can't be talking about the future. So when you speculate, you use will be the same as you would use must be. So you could easily swap will, in this case, for must, and it would mean exactly the same. That must be the best idea you have ever given me. Or it will be the best idea you have ever given me. When you speculate, when you say will be, it doesn't mean that you're talking about the future. You're actually talking about the present. Okay, it's a strange one for you. Right, so, the question is, when do we speculate? When are you ever going to speculate? When are you going to use all this? When do you use this? The truth is, I speculate that we could be speculating almost every day, if not every day, very often. You know, we talk about something we are not sure about. We make conclusions and make decisions. you know, based on what little information we have. And sometimes it can be true and sometimes not. But when you speculate, the language you use will depend on your own personal truth, okay? Again, it's very personal opinion and your personal truth, what you think is happening. The best example I can give you for when we speculate, and English people do it almost every day, standard conversation, the weather. We always speculate about the weather because we can never be sure. Is it going to rain? Is it going to snow? What's it going to be? We just don't know. So we have to speculate. We have to guess based on what the weather forecast said or what we can see ourselves. You could say it could be sunny today, later, or it might rain. It could be sunny. It might rain. We just don't know. Or if you want to talk about the past, you would say, it must have been raining this morning. Now, why would you say it must have been raining? Because probably you looked outside the window and you saw that the street is wet. So your conclusion is, it must have rained, and that's why it's wet outside. Or it can't have been warm last night. It can't have been warm last night. Or it ought to snow this afternoon. Or it should snow this afternoon. Because that's what they said on TV. They said it was going to snow. They said it was ought to snow this afternoon. Okay, so we speculate about weather. So, to help you with the different language we use when speculating, I have made this little table for you. I'll show you now. Okay, there we are. So, we go from a certain negative, okay, no way, impossible. But again, it's personal. To you, that's 100% impossible, but it's probably, it's more like almost certain, okay? You could be 100% certain, but the situation could only be, 99% certainty. So we're going to start with certain negative, which is can't. Can't be. The reason I have put be in brackets for all of them is because we use be quite a lot when we speculate. It could be, it can't be, they can't be, they must be. We use it a lot, but it could easily be replaced with another verb, any verb. They can't see, so be is in brackets just as an example that a verb follows. But yes, you can change it for any other verb. Okay, be, see, do, anything. So certain, a negative, can't. It can't be. No way. Then we move on to something that could happen. It's a possibility, 50-50, maybe yes, maybe no. You've got maybe, might be, and could be. Again, you can swap be for any other verb. And you can use all three of them in the same sense. So you can replace any one of those with any one of the other one. So, and they mean exactly the same. May, might, could. Then you move on to a probability, which is very likely there is a chance, not a big chance, more than 50-50, I would say. So you then use should and ought to, okay? And then the next one, we move on to a certain positive. Definitely, you think definitely, that's the case, that's the situation, that's what's going to happen. Will be, must be, that's the truth. And again, will be is not talking about the future. Will be and must be can be used in exactly the same way. And they mean exactly the same thing. Means now, okay? Now, when we talk about the past, sorry, it changes a little bit. When you use the same modals when talking about past, you have to add have. And the verb changes from be to been, so it changes to a past participle. Or seen, or gone, or flown, or bought. So can't have been, can't have bought, can't have travelled. So you got can't have and past participle. And it's the same for all of the modals. Okay, so you got the modal plus have plus past participle. May have been, might have been, could have been, should have been, ought to have been. So don't lose the two. Ought to have been, will have been, must have been. Okay, so we're going from certain negative to maybe, but more likely, uncertain yes. Okay, so fairly simple. Okay, so you can pause the video and make a note if you want to. So like I already said, maybe, might be and could be can all replace each other. Ought to be and should be can replace each other, and must be and will be can also replace each other. Okay, so to show you another example of how this works, how speculation works, let's take another situation where you could be speculating. So the situation is you and your friend are talking about another friend who you haven't seen for a very long time, and you haven't heard anything about her for a long time, and it's quite unusual. So you are speculating of what could have happened. Why is she not been in touch? Why haven't you seen her? So let's start with a certain negative, the first column. So the certain negative would be, you say, she can't have gone on holiday because last time I did see her, she said she had lost her job and she didn't have any money. So because of I have that knowledge, I then speculate that she can't have gone on holiday because I know that she said she didn't have any money. So can't have gone is in the past. If you wanted to change it and say something about now, in a certain negative way, you could say she can't be on holiday because I know she's got no money. Okay. Now moving on to a possibility, like a chance. Could be, could not be. She might have found a job in a different city and moved. I'm guessing. Maybe. It's possible. Maybe yes, maybe no. She might have found, again I'm talking about the past, and if I wanted to change it to now, I could say she might have a new job. She might have a new job. That's now. I'm speculating. We're not sure. I'm just guessing right now. Just because, you know, she told me she didn't have a job. She might have found a job in a different city and moved. Okay. Now moving on to a probability, something that's very likely to happen. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's likely. You could say, she should be in contact with me soon because it's my birthday next week and she normally gets in touch with me to wish me happy birthday. She normally does that, so because I know that, I am guessing that it's very likely that she will be in contact soon. She should be in contact with me soon because it's my birthday next week and she always wishes me happy birthday. Okay, so very likely. And then the last one is the certain positive. So your friend could say, she must be really busy. She probably hasn't been in touch because she must be really busy. Maybe someone said she just had a baby. I don't know. But she must be really busy. And you can also change the must, like I already said, with will be. She will be very busy. It doesn't mean in the future, it means now. She will be very busy now. Okay, so your friend is certain that she's busy. So that'll be it for today. Just to recap and see how much you've managed to remember in this lesson, I want you to speak to the screen again and answer my questions. What do you use for a certain negative in present? Which modal do you use for a certain negative in present? It's can't. Can't, for example, be, can't, see, can't, go. Can't, certain negative. What about the past? What would you use in the past? So remember, there's 3 parts to it. So the first one will be your modal, can't, have, and your verb, your past participle, sorry. So can't, have, been, for example. So that's your negative, certain in a negative way in the past, can't, have, been. So what do you use for a certain positive in present? There's 2 modals you can use for a certain negative, certain positive. So must and will. Must be, will be. Okay. What about the past? Again, same thing as before. Must have been, will have been. Okay. What do you use for a possibility? So 50-50. Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe yes, maybe no. What do you use for a possibility? There were 3, and those are maybe, might be, and could be. Or may, might, could. Okay. Be can change to another verb. And what about probability? So more than 50-50 chance, likely, something that's likely to happen. What do you use for that? There was 2. So you got should and ought to. So should be, ought to be. Or if you wanted to change that to past, you would again put the have and the past participle. So should have been, ought to have been. Okay. Well, I hope you found it useful. Thank you for watching me, and have a lovely day, guys. And I will see you hopefully next Saturday or next time. Okay, bye.